Welcome to 21st Sports recap and reaction for the New Orleans Saints versus the Arizona Cardinals Week 1 matchup in the 2015 NFL regular season. We're going to go over the stats and the scoring summary and give our analysis. Let's start off in the first quarter with just a little over 5 minutes in. Carson Palmer hits John Brown for a 10-yard touchdown. Catanzaro adds the extra point, and the Cardinals go up 7-0 over New Orleans. Then with 4 minutes left in the first, Zach Hocker hits a field goal, a 37-yarder, and it was now 7-3 as they cut the lead to 4 heading into the second quarter. So then in the second quarter, 11 minutes left before halftime, Andre Ellington punches it in from a yard out. Catanzaro adds the extra point, and it was now 14-3 Arizona as they extended their lead to 11. So then, with a little over 5 minutes left before halftime, Drew Brees finds Brandon Coleman for a 12-yard touchdown pass. Hocker hits the extra point, and they cut the Cardinals' lead to 4 with the score Arizona 14, New Orleans 10, as Drew Brees finds the end zone for the first time in 2015. So that was the score heading into the locker rooms at intermission. And then coming out in the third quarter, 3 minutes into the second half, Zach Hocker hits a 23-yard field goal to make it a 1-point game, with the score now Arizona 14, New Orleans 13. But then with less than 5 seconds left in the third quarter, Chandler Catanzaro hits a 43-yard field goal and pushes the Cardinals' lead to 4, with the score 17-13 Cards over the Saints. So that'd be the score after 3. And in the fourth quarter, about 3.5 minutes in, Hocker hits a 45-yard field goal. He's like, you're going to hit 43, I'll hit a 45. And it was back to a 1-point game, as it was a tightly contested game throughout the first 3 quarters and here into the fourth, with the score 17-16, with the Cards still in the lead. So then, with less than 10 minutes left to play, Carson Palmer throws his second touchdown of the day, this one to Darren Fells. It was a 17-yard touchdown reception. Chandler Catanzaro hits the extra point, and it was now an 8-point lead for the Cardinals, with the score Arizona 24, New Orleans 16. Then with less than 7 minutes left to go in regulation, Zach Hocker hits a 33-yard field goal to make it a 5-point game, with the score Arizona 24, New Orleans 19. But then with less than 2 minutes left in the game, just 93 seconds left in regulation, Carson Palmer throws his third touchdown of the game, this one for 55 yards to the rookie running back David Johnson, who takes it to the house. The rookie from Northern Iowa, who would make the score 31-19 after Catanzaro hit the extra point, and the Cardinals would win the game, with that being the final score. So it was a tightly contested game, and in the end, Carson Palmer throws his third touchdown to secure the victory and put this one away, as both quarterbacks had big performances, but Palmer was able to protect the ball and get into the end zone 3 times to go along with his 307 passing yards off of 19 for 32 completions to attempt. Brees threw 30 for 48 for 355 passing yards, but he had just 1 touchdown and he had an interception, as the Cardinals came up big on defense in this game, as they were able to hold the Saints down, and Palmer comes up huge. He had a huge day. Carson Palmer, he can stay healthy. He performs like this, the Cardinals can win this division. Their division, because Saints aren't in this division, but they can win their division. Of course, it's going to be interesting. You saw, the Rams beating the Seahawks earlier in the day. But in this game, Andre Ellington was the leading running back, as he had 12 attempts for 69 yards, including a touchdown. He also had 1 reception for 7 yards. Ingram just 24 yards off of 9 carries, but he had 98 yards off of 8 receptions. So he had over 100 total yards, as he had 122 total yards in this game, although he wasn't able to get it going on the ground. Johnson, though, for the Cardinals, he had 10 attempts for 37 yards, and Palmer had 3 carries for 14 yards. Chris Johnson, that is, not the the rookie who actually, scored the touchdown there, David Johnson. David Johnson did not run the ball in this game, although he's a running back. He just had the one reception, but it was a 55-yarder for our touchdown, so he definitely contributed. As I said, Chris Johnson, the legendary running back who spent all those years with the Titans and then the Jets, he had the 10 attempts for 37 yards. And Fitzgerald came up clutch in this game as he had 6 receptions for 87 yards. Fells, 4 receptions for 82 yards, including that touchdown. And as I just said a moment ago, David Johnson with that one reception for 55 yards, and that was a touchdown. And John Brown had the first touchdown of the game from Carson Palmer, and he also had 4 receptions, 3 other receptions, and he had 46 total yards on the day. Floyd just 1 reception for 18 yards. And on the other side, as I said, Ingram was the leading receiver for the Saints with 98 yards. So that's a interesting development there. Snead had 1 reception for 63 yards. And the running back, Kyrie Robinson, had 5 receptions for 51 yards. And Cooks, who a lot of people expected big things out of, he just had 4 receptions for 49 yards. Coleman, 4 receptions for 41 yards. Colston, 3 receptions for 29 yards. Watson, 3 receptions for 19 yards. As you see, plus Johnson had 2 receptions for 5 yards. But Drew Brees spreading the ball around as he had 8 different, targeted receivers that caught balls. But, that pickoff there, he put up big numbers, but he only could get in the end zone once. And not the best completion percentage there, but Carson Palmer came up huge in this game, and Andre Ellington contributing on the ground. They didn't run the ball a lot, but he got his yards, and he got into the end zone. So, and Ingram, he's a big guy over there on the other side for the Saints, but that he can catch out of the backfield, which not a lot of big guys can do that. And good performances by the kickers. Hocker, an impressive 4 for 4 from field goal range, and then 1 extra point, 1 for 1. And Catanzaro, 1 for 1 from field goal range, and 4 for 4 in the extra points. So kind of like a flipped, performance there by the kickers. But although, if you're in fantasy, maybe you want Hocker, but in reality, on the field, you'd rather have 4 extra points because that means your team got into the end zone 4 times. But we look at the defense. The leading tackler in this game was the Honey Badger, Tyrone Matthew, 8 tackles, and Okafor had 2 sacks in this game. Buchanan and Powers both had 6 tackles. Kalis Campbell had 5 tackles. Mitter had 5 tackles. And then we also had the pickoff by Johnson, the 1 pick in the game. And on the other side, Swan was the leading tackler for the Saints with 6 tackles, and they didn't have any sacks or picks. In the first downs, the Cards had more, 25-18. The Saints did have more third down conversions, but a lower percentage, just 7 for 18, whereas the Cards were 5 of 10. And then in terms of total net yards, the Cards had more, 427-408 for the Saints. Net rushing yards, 120 for the Cards, just 54 for New Orleans. So they needed to get that running game going. And it's tough, though, against the Cardinals' defense. They got one of the better defenses in the league, especially up front there. And then net passing yards, the Saints had more, 354, but the Cards, 307, was very impressive, as well as the net yards. Of course, they protected the ball better and a better completion percentage as well. And the Saints actually did have the ball more in the game, 33 minutes and 24 seconds to 26 minutes and 36 seconds. But the Cards, Palmer, he was not taking a lot of time to score. He was making some big plays in this game. So very impressive performance by Arizona at home. Carson Palmer looking really solid, as he does when he's on the field. And the Cardinals defense looking strong as well, although they did let up a lot of yards to Drew Brees. That's the thing, is the Cardinals take a lot of chances and they leave their corners out on an island. So they do let up yards, but they don't necessarily let up points. And they only let Drew Brees get 1 touchdown, and they picked him off once, so it kind of equals out right there. So even though the big performance through the air, but they bring all the guys down the box, got 8 men in the box, they shut down the run, and they'll let you get yards on them through the air, but they won't let you in the end zone, and they're not going to let you run on them. And so that's how they get it done there in Arizona, as they look strong here in Week 1, coming out with the victory. The final score, Arizona 31, New Orleans 19. Let me know what you think about this game in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend. And enjoy all the sports.